Alright, we're live. Why I'm not racing. Blog post. I'm not racing for many reasons currently, but it all comes down to money. I'm taking a step back due to finances and being smart about my money. As many of you know, I've been involved in road racing and track riding for about 6 years, since about 2011. In my career, I've crashed over a dozen times and never had a major injury, cut, abrasion, or broken bone, but unfortunately, in May of 2015, I high-sided coming onto the main straight, crashed, hit the pit wall, guardrail at Grattan Raceway clockwise at a Ware regional event. I've since fully recovered from all injuries, and I'm stronger than I was beforehand. I even completed a Tough Mudder half marathon less than 4 months after that incident. Fitness-wise, I currently do at least 1,000 miles between cycling and running every year. Through occupational therapy, physical therapy, and speech therapies, I have fully regained strength and mobility. Even with the shoulder I've broken 4 times and dislocated at 5, I can still do about 50 push-ups, 25 chin-ups with 0 pain. So that's really good. I recently worked for 2 companies that could easily be called startups. I worked at STG, Sport Bike Track Gear, for 2 years. They started in 2006, I believe, so just over 10 years. I love working with race gear motorcycle parts. It was definitely a good learning experience for me. Towards the end of my time working there, many people started getting canned left and right for no apparent reason. Since I was honorably laid off, another 20 to 25 employees have either been laid off, fired, or quit for various reasons. Every manager that was there when I was there is gone, and this is a company where they only have about 20 people on staff. The turnover rate is nuts over there, and I don't think it has to do with anything with the employees. The second company I worked for was Pacific Motors in Detroit. They were in business for 7 years when I worked there, and I worked there for about less than 6 months. They were basically a glorified junkyard. They bought mainly high-end European cars, sports cars, and exotic models. Total cars on auction for a fraction of the price of the full retail. Sometimes it would be just the bumper was messed up, or there was a front impact or something, and the rear of the car would be fine. There wouldn't be any issues with it. So you could take a lot of these parts off of the cars and you'd still have a lot of great parts. So they were a glorified junkyard. They bought these cars and sold the parts. They stripped them down to the frames, photographed it, and listed the parts online. This is very much like what I'm doing now. I'm basically getting new products in, photographing them, and just listing them. I was hired in as a sales guy, and within a month I was promoted to sales manager. Then later, sales and marketing manager. I felt like I came in and fixed a lot of the glaring issues. Their customer service was absolutely horrible. I wrote a procedure manual, like I have done in every company since McDonald's, and honestly made a significant improvement that had a major impact on customer service, automation, and they made more money. I genuinely believe that they appreciated what I did for them, but I think it's important to remember that a business is not your friend. A business is there for profitability, and they felt maybe that I had fixed the main issues that they were having. Even if you do a good job, here in Michigan at least, we're a fire at will state. There's no contract stating that you have security for the next X amount of years. The majority of people working today could be potentially in a position to lose their jobs tomorrow. They had no bearing on their performance. There is no security in that. It doesn't make me safe or feel safe. So this is what drove me to my current stage. Several years ago, I started an LLC to separate personal from racing expenses. Most people in the industry have no clue what it costs to go racing. They say things like, my kid's travel hockey is expensive, which it is, or whatever, but until you go racing, you really have no idea. It feels like it's you're trying to fund a NASA experiment here. My tires alone for a weekend is about as much as your kid's hockey is for a year. So to look more professional for sponsors and for myself financially, I started this company, but I really didn't sell anything for a couple of years. Just selling advertisement and promotion for sponsors. Just the tax savings alone are far worth having an LLC. I'd highly recommend anybody doing it just for the taxes. Some years I swing a couple $1,000s either way in my benefit. I sold old junk on Craigslist and eBay for as long as I can remember, Actually, it was about 12. I was selling CDs on eBay. So it was natural for me to list my own race tires and parts on there as well. I realized one day that I had sold every single tire I actually used on the racetrack. That's true fact. So without any really effort, I realized this was a really big opportunity here. People aren't selling these tires, so I just sell takeoffs and people buy them. During the past 2 years, ever since I was laid off, I've been really big into selling on Craigslist, Letgo, and OfferUp. I'm really a minimalist. I don't like keeping a lot of stuff around, so whatever I use, I like to keep. Whatever I don't use, I just get rid of. Don't need it. My grandma was a hoarder, and many summers I'd help my family clean out her entire room from top to bottom every few years. It was nuts growing up. So I'm a product of my environment. I also I want to start traveling a lot more, so I don't want to have a lot of stuff accumulated. I just want to be able to travel and not have to worry about that thing at home. After my exit from Pacific Motors, I had enough. I had my day of decision. I decided. I've had a few revelations in my life, and this is the latest, that I can't see myself being happy trading time for money. Being an hourly or salary employee for somebody else, there's no security. You're required to spend so much of your life there, and the pay isn't always that good. In my book, there's not much pay that would justify the cost of spending 30 to 40 years going to the same building in the same office. That's not what I want. I need a new model. The model of work I'm doing from now is being the boss, working for myself and automating tasks as I expand. As of today's 3/20/2017. It's about 2:41 right now. I have over 1,800 items live on eBay and 500 on Craigslist. I'm just getting started, less than 6 months full time, but I have a good outline of really where I want to go. And this outline is much deeper in my own notes. This is just a good overview for you guys, but the plan is to get to at least 10,000 items in inventory with an emphasis on the $50 to $250 price ranges across every product category that there is. That makes sense for a shippable small product for it to list and sell. I'm already in over 80 categories, from race tires to baby clothes and everything in between. I want to stick with smaller shippable products, digital products that will be explored later. The immediate goal is to get to $10,000 in monthly gross sales, which would be an average of $33.34, or $333.34, excuse me, at the current order average of 10 to 15 orders a day. To put it into those numbers, it doesn't sound too hard to achieve. I have hit the monthly goal, but I'm not there every month. I have another several hundred items to upload to eBay already in my possession. Then I'm going to focus on getting the same items live on 8 separate local marketplace platforms like Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Half, Shopify, my own Shopify store, Craigslist, OfferUp, and Letgo. The only one I'm actually not on right now is Amazon. All the others I'm on. You can find me on there. I'm using software that allows you to have multiple listings for the same item on different channels. So I could have 8 times the chances of somebody seeing something versus just listing it in one place. It's like a no-brainer to me. I don't understand why other people aren't doing this, other than the small monthly fee. Stage 2, I start with 1 to 2 part-time employees, taking over daily operations, orders, packing, shipping, messages, email, sales, everything. Everything right now could be automated, basically. I'm writing every day. I update my procedures a couple times a week at least. How to automate it better. Why not? Stage 3 is getting the business out of the basement. I have 10 rows of shelving for inventory, a shipping station, a desk workstation that I'm at right now for 2 people, and a photography booth set up, all about 650 square feet of usable space, and pretty low ceilings, about 6.5 feet tall. I just barely scrape my head on them. If I got just a 1,000 square foot building, that would be plenty of space. That'd be almost double what I'm using now. That'd be very good. And stage 4 is where I would fully automate everything and walk away. I've been reading a lot about automation in business. Actually, I've been recording in Excel the books I read now. It's over 9,000 pages I've read in the last couple years. But The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss is a good place to start. It might sound naive or unwise, but why wouldn't you do this? Someone once said, I believe that there's no one job that would satisfy about 7 billion of us here on Earth. So why is work or a good job the goal? Some days I wake up and have 2 to 3 orders, or what is the best is when my phone wakes me up with the cash register cha-ching as an alarm clock. I love that sound. If you were able to make $2,000 net per month from a side gig that you can eventually automate and just feed new products into, you would never have to work again. Yeah, I think it'd be great to have 30 million in the bank. It'd be a good goal. But what if you could actually retire by 30? This is not too far away. I'm not too far away from it already. I just started this thing. Just travel everywhere, be a vagabond, and live comfortably. That's my dream. I don't want to be in a cubicle. I want to go racing. Stage 5 is what you're all here for. Go racing. Once this is automated and everything is set up properly, which I estimate would be around the $25,000 a month at least range, then I would go back to track days to start slow at first, WERA racing, get back up to speed, with the intention of doing, I don't know, maybe a couple years, 5 years of Moto America would be phenomenal. At some point I intend on internationally competing, at least in Canada. Europe would be really cool. Hit all those tracks I do online and see them in the races. Other passions I have yet to explore is supermoto, motocross, flat track, karting, rally cars, sports car racing, open wheel racing. I have some experience with karting, and I've done some really good lap times in some local kart tracks, but I haven't raced the shifter karts yet. I think I was actually 25th out of over 100,000 people at the local kart track. 25th. I do really enjoy doing this business. I feel like I'm working for my future instead of working to make some boss happy, not knowing if I would ever get a raise, or it not even being up to me. If I want to make more money, I can go to work for a few hours downstairs and just directly add to my value, the value of the business. Make listings, improve something, source new items, anything. I'm not where I need to be sales-wise, but it's definitely growing. I just started, and I've already had months where it's positive for both the business and me personally, with paying the proper taxes and everything. I'm a salaried employee with a full W-2 and all. It feels good. You just need to be willing to eat some oatmeal, PB&Js, and some mac and cheese.